Welcome to Chesil Beach in Dorset. This 18-mile stretch of shingle reaches down into the English Channel, and at its tip there stands the famous Portland Bill Lighthouse, which has been a welcome marker of home for the people who live here as well as for those out at sea. But the most remarkable thing is that the lighthouse is controlled remotely from an office in Essex. So I've come here with a Vauxhall Adam Rocks Unlimited, itself fitted with an abundance of technology, to find out how the lighthouse works and what it means to the locals.
My name's Aaron Green and I work at Bennett's Fish and Chips. Living in Weymouth for 18 years myself, once every weekend I used to go up to Portland Bill with my nan and my sisters. We used to go up there, we had lunch every weekend. About 4 years I used to live on Portland itself. I'm going to say it's about 10-15 minutes away from the Bill, so see it every morning, you could hear it when it was foggy. And for those few years, the lighthouse, it was home. When you went to Portland, the lighthouse was its biggest feature, and it did make you think home when you heard it coming home from, say, a holiday, and you hear the lighthouse on that foggy evening. It was home.
Away fish here for nearly 12 years now, serving the public fresh produce from the sea. Obviously, it's the main thing we want to do is sell local fish. Mostly crab, lobster fishermen in Weymouth. We've got a couple of trawlers trawl for fish, scallops and mussels. So yeah, it's been very, very good. Well, the lighthouse is obviously brilliant. Obviously, you know, it does a lot of good, as well as being something that people can go and look at. You know, it is a big one at the end of the day. It's quite well used, let's say. Obviously, because of the rocky area around Portland. You know, the boats, they need it. Otherwise, there'll be a lot more damage, a lot more boats running aground in the bad weather. And again, tourist attraction. Everyone goes over there, and it's a lovely place to go. It can be quite dangerous on the rocks, which you've got to be careful. I was actually there yesterday with my little girl, because we always go over when the bad weather's in. I just see the crashing waves come in.
My name's Chloe, I'm a waitress at the Lobster Pot restaurant in Portland Bill, and I've lived here 20 years all my life. I'd say for people that come and visit Portland, the lighthouse is very important if you've never seen the sea before, because you then realise that if you have been out in a boat in the sea and you've been out travelling for ages, and this is the first contact I suppose you'd come into with the land. And then for us that work here, we get loads of customers come out, they come out to see the lighthouse come in here. I'd say I don't really notice it until I leave work and it's dark, especially when you see it going around and you realise how extraordinary the lighthouse is, especially for people that are out to sea in a boat.
Well, here we are at Portland and you can see the lighthouse behind me. Now, having spoken to some of the locals, there's an extraordinary pride in this building that looms over their landscape. But the other remarkable thing is that, like all of the lighthouses up along our coastline, it's controlled by a computer located many hundreds of miles away. That's a really good example of the power of technology to join things up. And talking about joining things up, I think the best thing about this lighthouse is that it's a point of connection between the land and the sea. It's a reminder, if you're out there, of the sanctuary of home. Well, we're at a different lighthouse now. This is the former lighthouse keeper's cottage at Anvil Point, just along the coast, and it's available as a holiday let. So we thought it would be the perfect place to stay at the end of our lighthouse adventure.
I'm Dave Pittman. I've been a commercial fisherman from the time I was 15, and for the last 20 years I've been running a charter boat called Atlanta out of Weymouth. Portland have got 3 lighthouses. Well, the first one was built what we call low light, but they found people coming from the west of Portland Bill by ship couldn't see it very well, so they built a second one on top of Portland a bit higher up. But then they found people would cut the corner of Portland Bill, So when they built the third one, which is now the one everybody knows as Portland Bill Lighthouse, which is right on the end of Portland Bill. Portland Bill Lighthouse's light can be seen up to 25 miles offshore. When you've been out for 2 or 3 days and you're coming back towards Portland before you start to steam home from working, and as you got nearer to Portland you would see the light get slowly brighter and brighter, and as you get up to about 10 miles from the bill you're sort of thinking, well, it's only going to be another 3 or 4 hours and we'll be going round there on the way home, and it's quite nice to see sometimes after a long hard trip. I was second coxswain on Weymouth Lifeboat for 9 years. We have had 1 or 2 rescues in Portland Bill race itself through yachts hitting the heavy weather there. Off of Portland Bill itself you get a tidal race there what can be quite hairy with seas up to 8-9 foot on a calm day, let alone if you've got any wind. Well, when I first started going to sea, we never had no electronics at all on the boat, except for an echo sounder, a compass and your watch. The compass and the watch is the most important thing in fog, time, course and all that. As time changed from about 69 onwards, the vessel we had then had what we called Decker Navigator on, which was run by radio waves from base stations throughout the country. And that gave us an accuracy of up to, on a good day, 10 feet, on a bad day, 50, 60 feet accuracy. As time gone through, we all now use GPS, and that accuracy with GPS is down to 9 foot. On top of that, we also got a system called AIS, what gives out our position and our course and speed to other vessels, so that if it's foggy or night time they can see what's going on around us. So with including the radar in that, makes life a lot more safer and easier to navigate in thick fog. On the angling side of it, all the fish are good to catch and they're all good fun to catch depending on how you fish for. Conger eels, my best conger eel is 79 pounds, which is caught out in Weymouth Bay off of a reef. I've also had 300 pound plus sharks, but you're fishing different rigs, so any on the angling side, any fish, as long as you fish for them on the right gear, can be great fun to catch and play with anyway. And anybody can do it, from a beginner to a seasoned angler. It's all good fun.